What's good, YouTube? It's jazzlovesmma here, and I'm making another tier list. As you can see by the thumbnail of the video, we're going to be doing a UFC fighters power tier list. I actually got some help for this tier list. I made a rough draft. Shout out to Martin Tybura fan on Twitter. He helped me fix up some rankings that I didn't really that I had really placed, but I didn't know really where to settle them in. Let's get into this video. As you can see by the tiers, Grim Reaper Power, you don't want to get touched by them. TKO Merchant. People who do have finishing power can rock you, can drop you, can hurt you, but they don't get the flatline KOs. They get a lot of TKOs instead. Um, Damaging blows is for people who hit hard, but they're not really getting as many KOs. People who, like, you hear other fighters who have fought them say, one of the hardest hitting people who have ever hit me. So they do a lot of damage, they compact, breaking bones and stuff, but they're not really getting the rocking and the drops and the KOs. Pimple popper tier list is people who can like pop your head back, but they're not really hitting you or hurting you. They can pop people's head backs and stuff. They can bust up people's noses, um, mark them up, swell them up, and then salt and pepper is for people who like the pepper who like don't put a lot of stank on their punches and just pepper people up with like strikes. We'll get into it. The first person who I immediately think of when I think of the salt and pepper style, Brandon Royval. You are a salt and pepper master. The way he fights, he just kind of flings his arms out, puts a lot of combinations together. Um, he was doing damage to like Tyra, who just doesn't move his head. So he could be a pimple popper, but I think when you see the people in pimple popper tier list, you'll kind of get it. Um, Speaking of, I think I'm gonna put someone like, oh, I think I'm gonna put Fazeev in a pimple popper tier list because he doesn't pepper people up. He hits hard, he is explosive, but he doesn't really get a lot of KOs. And he's not someone that people talk about like he hits really hard, man. He doesn't really mark people up. Doesn't make people swell up that much. And yeah, he was able to get a finish over Old Man RDA. His most recent win is Hamondas. He looked good against Gaethje, but he didn't really mark up Gaethje. He was hurting him to the body here and there, but nothing crazy. Um, he's definitely a pimple popper. Um, who else? Some who is another salt and pepper guy. Fucking Corey Sandhagen. He's the embodiment of salt and pepper. I think Brandon Royval's a little bit more of a salt and pepper dude, but I think I think just the way Corey fights sometimes, he'll stick to like peppering up with jabs and stepping with a two, pop pop pop. But he won't put like a lot of power into it. Like the way he was fighting Morale, he was just kind of peppering him. And yeah, so I think this is a perfect tier list for him. Interesting to see how he looks against Batista because I think Batista hits a little bit harder than him, but yeah. Um, TKO merchant. Who's a big TKO merchant I can put in there? Let's see. Damn, I can't find anyone who I put in TKO merchant. Someone who's another flyweight who fought Brandon Royval, who you could probably, based off the Royval performance, you could say he's a Grim Reaper. Manel Cap is kind of a TKO merchant. Maybe it's because he fouls people and that ruins his finishes. But also on Mobite, like he broke against the fence, he didn't really flatline KO him. Um, Bruno Silva, he body shot TKO'd and I shot him. Also Mobite, he also eye poked. And then Royval's like the first guy in a while who he like brutally flatlined other than like Odie Osborne who he flying kneed. And yeah. Cup does take certain people to decision as well. So I put Manel Cap in TKO, but he's very explosive and he definitely does hit hard. But it's like I don't even know the words for it. Just the pure addition of power that he adds on um, definitely gets to people. Like his volume and the amount of like explosive punches that he's throwing per minute with the speed. I think I'm going to put him in TKO Merchant. Um, I think someone who embodies damaging blows, and like the first person I thought of when describing it is Justin Gaethje. The leg kicks, Charles Oliveira, and I think I think Khabib said he was the hardest person who ever hit him. He definitely goes in there. He was rocking and dropping Patty a lot, but and he swelled off the face, but he couldn't get the finish. Patty does have a good chin though. Um, there's just certain performances where he does hit hard. He does have crazy KO power, but it's not that crazy. Like I do think Monokop hits a little bit hard for the weight class. I think there's certain guys who can rank above him in power as well. Um, but the way Gaethje's low kicks are, they do fuck up people pretty badly. Um, some of his finishes also come by high poke as well. That's something I had to bring up. He couldn't finish Fiziev, but he has better power than Fiziev, right? That's how he was winning. He just hits harder than Fiziev and stuff. So if you can see what's going on, um, I'm gonna add on to who's another. I think Sean Strickland is unironically a pimple popper. He snaps people's heads back with jabs. He swells people's faces up. Look at fucking Kamzat's face after they fight. DVP's face swollen. That's like the most damage we've seen in DVP's face ever. He was popping Izzy with the jabs and then bang the two. Rocked Kamzat with the two. Stinging Imavov with his jabs and 1-2s and his winging hooks. He pops people's heads with the jab, and that's when I was making this tier list, like when I was eating lunch, and I was thinking about it. Charles Strickland was like the perfect guy I immediately thought of. He pops people's heads back with the jab with the weird face. Pop, pop, pop. Who else said he popped their heads back and stuff with the jab? He was popping Fluffy with the jabs. Boom, boom. Popping over the jab, popping over the jab. That's what he was doing too. I think that's how he finished Brendan Alley. Pops and bam, bam, boom, boom. He doesn't hurt a lot of people. Like no one's saying that he hits really hard, but he doesn't just pepper people with jabs as like people think. Like, he does pop people in the face with them, and that's how he wins fights. But someone who I would put in pimple popper, but Volkanovski I think is a bit of a salt pepper type of dude. In some of his fights, he can't be a pimple popper, but in the same time, I'm trying to think about who I have in the pimple popper tier list. The pimple popper, or in the salt pepper tier. Volk is like a weird mix of both, you know? He does pepper people really well, but he pops people's heads with Max. He was popping Max into the third fight with a jab. He was fucking cracking Diego Lopez. He was popping TKZ with the jab. You know, fuck, I'm just gonna put him in pimple popper. Lately, in his two Diego fights, he will sit down and grit down in the pocket, bang, pop you with the right hand. Sometimes he does have those movements in previous fights too, but he was able to finish Yair. So that is something to be said. So yeah, I'll put Volk in the pimple popper tier. So I was originally gonna have him so better, but I do think he hits a little bit harder than Royval and Corey. But someone who I think is on a similar tier to them, Ian Gary. Ian Gary does hit decently hard, but he will just go to pepper people up. He was able to process his head back. Man, is this another dude who I think should be a pimple popper? But not as much. Recently, his style is kind of just to peppering people up. He was peppering Bilal up a lot. Low kicks. He mixes in the hands and the head kick and stuff. But I think he'll pepper you up more. I think he's more of like someone who just pepper you up, put some hands on you. I'm just rethinking this whole tier list. But yeah. To mix it up, who can we put in a higher tier? Damaging. Paulo Costa is a damaging blow type of dude. You know, people are think man, Paulo Costa by KO. And I think at heavyweight he's going to be getting more TKOs. But that's just another one where it's like a lot of damage. And he wasn't getting that a lot at middleweight recently. But he can hit people. He does hit hard. Um, he was hitting fucking Prime Yoel Romero, not Prime Yoel Romero, but in form Yoel. Early game rocking him all over the place. He is like his body kicks clearly affect people. Roman Kopylov wasn't really taking them well. Um, and then Azam was getting really badly hurt by them. So yeah, I think Dolokhov is a damaging blow type dude, where his kicks just hurt. I haven't really heard anybody talk about them, but he clearly does hit really hard. He has rocking Victorian moments as well. So I think Paulo Costa deserves to be in this tier list. Um, and the man who's in the thumbnail, Alex Pereira is a bit of a TKO machine. I've seen arguments on Alex Pereira's power, and he really doesn't flatline people. Let's go through it. Flying knee, that random dude in his debut. Okay, just like Bruno Silva to a decision. He did flatline, but did he? Not really. He didn't leave Strickland out cold on his back. He dropped him with that left hook, then put him down with the right, and then Strickland got right back up. TKO'd Izzy against the fence. Took Jan to a decision, had him hurt against the fence at one moment. Dropped Yuri back with a left hook, was gonna go for ground and pound. Goddard steps and stops it. He didn't flatline Yuri. Who did he fight after? Jamal Hill. He dropped him back with the left hook, then he ground and pounded him. Yuri in the rematch, TKO'd him, dropped him back with the head kick. Crowd followed up, ground and pounded. He got the TKO. Khalil, he TKO'd him against the fence, breaking him. Ankalaev shot a shitty takedown after being scared for shitless, and then he got TKO'd on the ground. So he's not the big, like, he does hit hard, and like he will drop you out of nowhere, and that's like an element of Grim Reaper status, but I do think he's a bit more of a TKO merchant where he hurts you bad, he drops you, but you're not fucking dead already. It's just when he pounces on you, that's when it's really over. So yeah, I do think he is a bit of a TKO merchant. Who can I add next? Damaging blows. Damaging blows type of dude. I think I'm gonna add Ankalaev into the pimple popper tier list. Speaking of Alex Pereira, Ankalaev is a bit of pimple popper. He doesn't really pepper people up, and I was conflicted on putting him lower, but he can rock you. He was able to rock Alex Pereira, and he was able to pop his head back with the 1-2s. So he's able to pop people's head backs and stuff. And depending on who he looks against Khalil, this might change my opinion on his power, but obviously I don't think he's that much of a KO artist. It took him 2 rounds to KO Johnny Walker. It's pretty much like the worst thing was done against Walker recently. Let's beat him. But he will put you down. He can't rock certain people. He was popping Rakic's head back. So yeah, I think he's a bit of a pimple popper. Damaging blows. I put Jack Della Maddalena and damaging blows. I know he kind of doesn't fit because the whole point was the whole people who hurt. And Carlos Prates is one dude who fought him and said, I wasn't fearful of his power. But JDM can crack. Like he can drop people, he can rock people really badly. He can ground and pound people really nicely. He gave brutal damage to Burns. He busted up and brutalized the face of Belal before even Gary did. Had him rocked, had him hurt all over the place. So yeah, I think the JDM by TKO stuff. It would have to be like assertive matchup, like Paulo Costa versus Murzakanov, and Gaethje versus Luis KO recently. To where I'd have to say, yeah, he would KO them. Because he does hit, like he does have power, but it's more like he's gonna damage you. He's gonna break you to the body and stuff. And yeah, that's what JDM does. He'll break people. and he doesn't really flatline them. And someone else who I think is in damaging blows, Joshua Van. I think Joshua Van is a good damaging blows type of dude. He does hit hard, especially for our flyweight. He does have like decent, like pretty good power for like how he's being able to finish certain people. But it's similar to Cap, but I think Cap is like more explosive, so that's why he's a bit more of a TKO merchant. Van finds those certain shots and he hurts you. He drops Royval. You can say maybe he softened up the chin of Royval. He was able to finish him. He was able to hurt him. Had his face busted up. Was able to drop him, but didn't find the TKO. It took him to round 3 when he had the face of Tyra busted up, broke him to the body, similar to like JDM style where you break people to the body and stuff. That's how I see Van's power. It's damaging, but he's not just like a pimple popper or a he's not a really big TKO merchant. He just hits pretty. He has damaging power. I think it's time I had somebody in the. Oh, maybe I can add somebody else in the TKO merchant area. I think I'm gonna add John Silva in the TKO merchant because he can't hurt people. He just drops people, but I think he didn't flatline. What's the name? Wilson, Wilson, something like that. He trains with Wonder Boy. He couldn't flatline him. He's like he took like a couple big shots. Milsic back in the Syrian is who we had beat. It took him some grind. Like he dropped Milsic bad, but then he had to follow up. Got the TKO there. Dober, he had to like spinning elbow rock all over the place. Then get like the doctor stoppage. So Jiu Silva does hard. He was rocking. Diego Lopez really bad, who is, as if you could see on this tier list as well. And yeah, so John Silva isn't really flatlining people. He was able to like somewhat sting and rock Allen in some moments, but so maybe I can put him in damaging blows. But I think the fact that he's getting more finishes than some of these dudes, and I don't know, maybe he could be more of a damaging blows type of dude. In some of his next fights, we'll see, but I think he is a bit more of a TKO merchant, especially based off how people describe his power. He's definitely more of a TKO merchant than anything. Like, I don't think people think JDM is going to flatline someone. They think it's going to be a lot of shots, which in John Silva feels like more people think that he's going to flatline people. Who can I add next? I think it's time I add a Grim Reaper into the top tier list. And I'm going to add Elliot Saporia, man. Especially at 155. Depending on how next week he looks against Gaethje, dude, the way if he flatlines Gaethje badly in a round, he's definitely a Grim Reaper. Cole did Volkanovski like no one else. It took a head kick and then some ground and pound for Islam to do it. Cole did Charles like no one else has. That was insane. First person to knock down Holloway. You know, he just has that Grim Reaper power, man. He put some certain people out as well. Damon Jackson, who can forget? He had sub Bryce Mitchell, but I think that was more of a stylistic thing. And yeah, he's definitely a Grim Reaper. It's hard to say that he's not. Moving on to a man who is fighting this weekend. Don't miss my predictions tomorrow. I will be posting predictions tomorrow. I promise. Bilal Muhammad. I was conflicted in moving it up and down, but I think he's more of a pepper type of dude. He was able to rock Leon with one shot, but it was more or less he peppers people up. He wasn't really popping Sean Brady's head back. He was peppering him up with loads of shots and loads of punches. And he's definitely more of a pepper type of dude. He wasn't popping JDM's head back. He was peppering him with a cross, peppering him with certain shots in there and here and there. So yeah, I think he's definitely more of a pepper you up type of style. Moving on to another Grim Reaper. I'm gonna say Manuel Torres. He's been out, and he's gonna fight someone else on this tier list in Azerbaijan. Physique, but Torres, he just touches certain people on the chin and they go out. Dober John Silva couldn't do that. flatlines him easily in a round. The way he would have slaughtered Dariush, the way he did Grant Dawson was insane. Um, just like touched the one big shot he lands, he puts people out. So his power is definitely crazy. But Hamas definitely killed the run he was going on, made him go back, but his power is undeniable. He touches certain people and they're just dreaming on the canvas at local. Who's a bit of another TKO merchant. I think Diego Lopez is a bit of a TKO merchant. He does have power, but he was dropping Volk in certain moments in their fight. He was able to drop Volk, and you might be saying, "How are you putting him in the same team as John Silva?" It's just I don't know. I don't know why I'm putting him. I don't really think he's a Grim Reaper. He doesn't really just touch people when they die. Like he took Danny Ige to a decision. You heard him in some moments. But he took him to a decision. He was able to rock Mazar, but he didn't really get much from that. Pat Sabatini he put down pretty bad, and then ground and pound followed him. So I think Sadiq Yusuf put him down the uppercut, got some ground and pound as well. So yeah, I haven't seen like a real nasty. He just lands a big shot and calls him, other than the spinning elbow. But that's not real Grim Reaper touch you and you die type of power. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 more people on this tier list. I think it's time to add somebody else on the Grim Reaper tier list. The Grim Reaper tier. Gregory Rodriguez. Dude, he touched Bruno Silva and he died. Or not Bruno Silva, Bruno Ferreira. He died. He just exploded. That was insane. Who else did he hold? The way he killed the Jack Hermanson was disgusting. Big left hook bang just put him out. Oh, he was already out cold. Then he hammer fisted him into another realm. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, I think what's his name? RoboCop deserves to be in Grim Reaper tier. Because he had a similar performance against Kopylov to Paulo Costa, but yeah, RoboCop just puts different people out cold. Maybe Paulo Costa could do the same, but I think RoboCop's showing it more than Paulo Costa hasn't been able to. Like I think if RoboCop was able to fight Whitaker, I think he would probably end up actually putting Whitaker out with a couple punches. There's also like if he lands some shots that Paulo was able to, you probably would put Paulo, not Paulo, but you probably put Whitaker out. There's 3 dudes in here who are going to be going in other tiers, and then 3 people who are not. I'm going to put Peter Yan in a Pimple Popper tier list. In the Pimple Popper tier. Do I? Because he doesn't get TKOs like these dudes. But I think he'll drop people. He was dropping Aljo all over the place in their fight. He dropped Corey a couple times. Rocked and putting him in damaging blows. Because he'll bust up people's faces. He'll sting people. And he damages people more. Busts their faces up. Rock and drop them. They don't really rock and drop people. Like as soon as I said damage them, I was like, oh, maybe Sean Strickland and Volk will go up in this tier, but I think the way Peter Yan sits down on shots a little bit more allows him to be in this tier. And maybe it's just because of the Marab performance, but the way he did Marab was crazy and he damaged him pretty badly. Dropped and rocked. I don't think he dropped O'Malley, but definitely rocked him. So yeah, I definitely think he deserves to be in damaging blows tier. He was able to finish Aldo as well in 5 rounds. I think Max is a bit of a TKO merchant as well. I originally was gonna have him on Pimple Puppet tier list, but the 155 move up. Does he hit as hard as these guys? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna put him in Pimple Puppet tier list because he pops people's heads back. He can't hold people. Like he obviously called KT, and he was able to drop nearly finish Poirier, but he couldn't. He speed mogs people and then he doesn't finish them. He wouldn't have finished. Gaethje would have been like a 50-45 decision. The Gaethje fight would have been a 50-45 decision if he didn't find that last punch in that last second. You know. So he does hit hard, but it takes like these big moments. TKZ was able to flatline, but it's like that was retirement. TKZ taking big damage his career. Same for Volk, but you know. So yeah, I think Max pops people's heads back and stuff as a bit of a pimple popper. Maybe before his 155 move up, I would have said he's a bit of a salt and pepper maxer, but I feel like he pops people's. He was popping Poirier loads, and then was able to drop him a couple times. And for the Grim Reaper, I'm gonna put Joe Pfeiffer. Yeah, Andre Berriot, brutal flatline, a brutal colding. Couldn't beat Jack Hermanson. That was a bit embarrassing, but then he colds. Who was he colding, man? He was able to drop Kelvin Gastelum. Middleweight is tricky. Like him and Curry Rodriguez, I feel like aren't real Grim Reapers. I feel like they're on the lower end of the Grim Reaper tier list. Or on the Grim Reaper tier. Who else is? I was able to. He hurt Izzy. Was able to drop him. Didn't even drop him, but hurt him to then broke his nose, and then TKO'd him there. But like he has KO'd people pretty badly. Like Andre Berriot, I already had already said, but I'm not trying to remember his fights in between them. Who was he fought? He fought Kelvin Gastelum, but who did he fight before that? Was it Andre Berriot? Who did he fight to be in the rankings? I mean, I swear I'm forgetting somebody he beat to be in the ranks. I'll remember at some point. Damn, I'm blanking. Oh, what's his name? Abu Smagomedov. Oh man, but is was Piper a Grim Reaper? I feel like neither of these guys are real Grim Reapers. I feel like they're a little bit more of TKO matches. They hit hard for 185. I don't know. Piper does hit hard. He can hold people pretty badly, but I do think kind of does he hit harder than Gregor Rodriguez? He would probably do the same with Bruno Ferreira. Hmm. I'll leave him in this lower tier. You can call COD, but COD isn't really bad. He's pretty hard to knock out. So yeah. I'm gonna put him Rob in the salt and pepper tier list. He's kind of similar to Bilal, and he was able to crack Corey. So yeah, I think he has a little bit more power than Corey, but obviously this is it. Like I'm not these isn't fully ranked, but I think he does it harder than Corey. But he doesn't really pop people's heads back. He damage. He almost finished him with volume, but he couldn't do it. And yeah, he was putting some hands on Sean, but he wasn't really, or O'Malley, but he wasn't really popping his head back. He was peppering with the big shots. Similar to like Bilal. Like they're like a subsection of the salt. They put salt on people. There, yeah. I saw them up. These guys are the peppers, and Ian Gary's the perfect mix of salt and pepper. He's able to pop people's heads back, bam, put some salt, and then he's still being able to pepper them up. Well, Bilal's a bit of a pepper match too. But like against Leon, he was able to put the uppercut, bam, put some salt on him. Rob, he's able to put some salt on people, or put some pepper on people. Bang, he finds a big right hand on Corey, puts that salt on him. Yeah. Lucas Tracy Maxim with his fucking Tierlist, man. Yeah. I think Rob is a salt and pepper type of dude. These two last people are Grim Reapers. Urus Medic is a Grim Reaper. Touches people, they he's really chin or be chinned. And yeah. Man, you're fucking putting do I just put both of them in there? Damn, they did. I just don't feel like they deserve to be on here. But Piper hasn't really gotten a really impressive KO in a while. So yeah, I'm gonna put him here. back to Earl Smash. Earl Smash has nasty power. The way he trained Jeff Neal easier than someone else we're going to be talking about in the last part of this tier list. And it is just crazy. What was it he knocked? He's probably on Slime D-Roll pretty nasty as well. The way he knocked out Muslim Salikov, disgusting stuff. And yeah, it's some of what's his name? I talked about him in a recent video. Urbina put him down. He had gone dropped, but that's just because he's training himself. But as soon as he touched him back, put him out. He did get slammed up by Pulinis Siriano. That's because his chin is kind of questionable. And the real Grim Reaper of this tier list, Carlos Process. First person to knock out Liang. Nasty stuff. The way he put out Trevor Giles with that left hand. Bang! Slapped him. Charles Racky touched him with the knee. Bang! Sent him down. First person to TKO JDM in ages. Put massive damage on him. Bam! Put him down with knees. Head kicks. Oh, left hands. Knees. Elbows. Bang! Sitting him down. Chewed up his leg. Destroyed him. Looked like a Grim Reaper in that fight. Bang! Left hand. Puts Leon out. Has him smiling. It's just nasty power. It's nasty power in his hands, in his knees. Spinning elbow in the last second of round 1 puts Jeff Neal out. Disgusting stuff, dude. Just nasty. There's some other fights. I think I named them all now. He did have a nasty knockout on the Contender Series as well. He's a real Grim Reaper, him and Ilya. And Manuel Torre, at least for real Grim Reapers. He's a bit lower on the tier list in this Grim Reaper tier. If you have good recovery against Robocop, he doesn't really look like that good of a Grim Reaper. But this is the UFC Fighters Powers tier list. This might be a little bit longer of a video. I actually don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, leave a comment below. How would you guys change this up? Who would you add? Who would you take out? Let me know. Like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, jazzlovesmma. If you want fitness clothes, fitness accessories, check out Dime Fitness. It'll be in the description below. Use my promo code Shaz07. Catch you guys tomorrow. I will be posting predictions. See you guys there. Peace.